I had a case. This will help somebody here. I have a case, or I read a case that happened in the United States of America of a lady who had an affair with a man who happens to be a plumber. The plumber are those who fix water runnage in the house. And they had a wonderful relationship. They were true to each other, you know, and something happened. They had to go their separate ways because the lady went to another state in the U.S. for education. The young man went elsewhere to acquire more experience and knowledge in the trade that he runs. And as time went by, they lost contact. So they both married to different people.
Wow.
The lady had married to another man who eventually became the governor of New York. And the man also had gotten married to another woman. But don't forget, they had their first love. And this one was genuine. But you know, unlike in our society, in America, something happened and the governor and the wife found themselves in a particular location where a function was going on. And guess who was the plumber in that same environment, in that house per se? It was the former boyfriend of this lady. And you know, when the girl saw this man, out of excitement, they jumped at each other, celebrated themselves. And the governor was like, what? What's wrong with her? In Nigeria, you call her first lady. Okay? And so what's wrong with this lady? You are jumping and hugging an ordinary plumber.
Yeah.
And so the man wanted to get mad and called, and of course the lady has taken the man to the husband and said, this man happens to be my first love, you know, we had a relationship before situation happened to whatever they shared. And then the man said, in the presence of the plumber, you mean if I had not married you, you would have ended up in the hands of a plumber? Oh, and that was like a look down and a let down. But the lady said, no, you are getting it all wrong.
Yeah.
If I'd married this plumber, by now, he would have become the governor of New York. Because residing in me, you know, the young lady said to the husband, residing in me is to make any man that will marry me a governor. And so you don't play with the grace she carried. And there are a lot of ladies like that. But if you miss it, what you are expected to be as far as destiny is concerned is gone with that unhealthy relationship.
Wow. This story is really very touching. I think our young ladies will really hear about this, hear this and work with it. Because what we see now, they always look for akate, somebody who has money.
Oh.
What kind of car does he have? Does he have money? Is he from a family, a rich home? No, those things are just secondary. They're secondary. He made something with them, and that's also my life. I didn't look at my husband that moment I met him.
Oh.
But I saw potentials in him.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, this man will go high places. That's why we went on a relationship. I've told people several times. So I said I want to marry a man that I'll start life together with, not somebody who is already made. But nowadays, okay, but if you're lucky to have somebody who has money, no problem. But if that's only all you want, you get the money, and then I wonder how you're going to marry money. Because money is not everything. He gives you money and he will not be there for you. He gives you money, he doesn't know whether you anything. When we say, and what about that? He has so many chicks outside. I bought you car yesterday. So what about it? So what are you going to do? But you need his comfort. He needs him to be around you. For where you will not find because you're looking for money. So be very careful. I didn't say that marrying someone that is rich is totally, but that should not be your main motive for marrying. Look at the story about that lady. And he said, no, if I married him, he won't still be a plumber. Because what is in me, I will have also shared that with him. Okay, so it's very important. What are the roles of couples in maintaining healthy relationship now? Yeah,
the role is, first, they must agree to see themselves as one.
Togetherness.
They play that role together. You must see yourself as one. And that is why I tell people there are two classes of school. There is what we call the wisdom school, where 1 + 1 is equal to 2. And then there is what is called the revelational school, where 1 + 1 is equal to 1.
And that is one from God.
And so you must know which of the school you are operating in. Once you get into the school of revelation, then 1 + 1 must be 1. So the role of maintaining a healthy relationship is that even before you get married, you must begin to learn how to do things with singleness of purpose. You must share things, ideas together. Of course, we believe that idea rules the world. If idea does rule the world, idea should also rule your relationship. And you must learn to share it. Another thing that we build or help to maintain a healthy relationship, which is of course lacking to a greater extent within the environment where we find ourselves, is healthy communication. The moment there is a break in that realm, definitely your relationship will be affected. So, and in maintaining healthy relationship, you must learn to talk the truth to each other. You don't cover up. You tell each other the truth. We've just heard a little of Madame's own background from where she comes from. I had a similar view. You know, I wasn't from a too much a rich family. Neither were my parents poor. But given the average home I came from, I had wanted to marry a woman who used to plait their hair like this. You know, you just take one rope and tie the thing and do one pop-off. You know, but by virtue of God's grace and providence, I'd married the wife I had today. But we went to the same university, and funny enough, we didn't meet there. We have left the university, and sometime along, as destiny we have it, I was walking to the bank I'm currently still using now, and I saw this beautiful lady, and I knew this is the kind of woman I want. And so for the young man, in having a healthy relationship, you must guide your choice so that you don't say, I've made a choice by mistake. You don't make choice by mistake. You must guide it. And so I saw this lady, who today is my wife, but there was a class difference, but I didn't mind. I knew this, who I wanted. And from the first day I saw her, I had to say something I want to teach you now. It may look awkward, but work with it. There is what I call in the school of relationship, faking it to making it.
Faking it to making it.
You parade yourself in the future you want to live now. You parade yourself in the future you anticipate for yourself now. In other words, you may not have a vehicle to use, you know, to blur at the face of the lady. But what stops you from letting the lady know that there are vehicles in your future? And so when I saw the woman I married today, the first thing I did was to look at my communication skills, sharpen it, and then approach her with that. All right? I wasn't born in America, but I needed to do something that looks like that. And so when I went to her, to her mother's supermarket, the first thing I didn't say hi. I said, hello. You know, the way I coined that word was enough for her to give me her attention. So I didn't just get there and say hello.
Hello.
You've gotten it now. Now me know which I want.
Yeah.
So anyhow I will take get her, I need to do them. So I went there and said hello, and then she gave me her attention, and I spoke phonetics, even though I don't live in it. And I think the second day, the third day, the fourth time also, not days rather, but times as time went by, I began to draw attention. And today the rest is history. And, and you know, so when I came to the woman I married, and the same thing I want to share with every one of you and Nigerians, and indeed citizens all over the world, is that I came out plain to letting her know who I am and what I believe God will make me to be. And today we are both living that dream. Yeah. We are both living that dream. So we were able to build communication, told her where I'm from. My father wasn't Muritala Mohammed. My dad was a major in the Nigerian army, and this is where we lived. This is where we lived. In other words, we grew up in the barracks, but with a little providence of staying in the officers' quarters. But there's no difference between living in the barracks and officers' quarters, because the officers' quarter is still in the barracks. So I let her know that, and then she told me, you know, I was coming from a home, for instance, where you will have to wash your hand to eat your swallow, and when your soup get finished, you have to use the same plate to demand for more. But she was coming from a home where cutleries was the order of the day. And when their soup get finished and they say they need more, they will have to use another clean plate to dish. You know, so it was like from a two different background, but we need to tell ourselves the truth. Exactly. And now this is the man you want to marry. So if you are going to marry me and you have accepted that you are in love with me, you must also try to come to my own level as I try to also meet your level. That's understandable. So I use these cutleries when I get to the group of people who use cutleries. And when I get to my own constituency where I came out from, we use the same hand.
So I think he has made some salient points that we really need to take it to heart. You know, in discussing this, some of the roles that, you know, couples can play in maintaining healthy relationship. Talk about communication is just what they ended. That's very, very key. You know, I said it briefly when I said that you are communicating with your husband before, your wife before. Now you don't longer stay together to discuss. You start picking, tasting things. Now you become so picky. Start becoming so domineering. You start nagging as a wife. Any small thing your husband do, you don't appreciate it. You now know that your husband is a dirty man. Is this and that. You know, so all these ones coming up. It's signs of it. But I can always say, it can't be avoided. And the only way you can avoid it is to talk to yourself as a woman, talk to yourself as a man. And there's that self-control. You'll be able to cover. And if you see, realize anything your partner is doing that is not right, you have a right to correct. And correct in love, not by quarrel or by showing supremacy. Because all of us have our egos, whether man or woman, we have our egos. All right, so we'll take a break now, come back, continue. Vivid View, say and do it.
This is Vivid View.